What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. We are finally here for week 30 of the Premier League predictions, and it's only heating up on the channel. We're finally doing Champions League predictions as well as Europa League predictions. I get asked to do that so much, so don't worry, there's going to be tons of videos for you over the next few months. I also want to give a little shout out to myself. There were people that left predictions on the previous video, but for the first time in a long time, I got 100% of my tips correct in the previous game week. Absolutely awesome. Even the Fulham Leeds match, I got the wrong result. I said 2-1 Fulham, it ended 2-1 Leeds, but my tip was both teams to score at 1.8. So I want to give myself a little pat on the back. If you want to be featured in the next episode of the Premier League predictions, then please do leave your predictions down in the comments below. So as I said, I had a really good game week last week, but now let's kick it off with week 30, and we have first up Chelsea up against West Brom. I don't know if Chelsea will be playing full strength, but they do have the squad depth and squad quality to not only rotate their squad, but also, if they choose to do so, get the win that they need over West Brom. I don't see West Brom winning this. West Brom, they're going to get relegated by this point, so they don't necessarily have too much to play for. Chelsea will have one eye on the Champions League quarter-final against Porto, which is obviously a dream draw for them. No disrespect to Porto, but I'm sure Chelsea will be happy with that. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Chelsea, keeping another clean sheet, keeping it tight, but my tip is going to be Chelsea half-time, Chelsea full-time. They've been starting well in the first half under Thomas Tuchel, and I don't see that changing here, and it was very difficult to actually find any sort of decent value in a Chelsea win over West Brom because of how much better Chelsea are compared to West Brom, but the value is 1.72 for a half-time, full-time, so I think that is a good shout. I think that's the same value of Chelsea winning to 0, so pretty decent, I would say. Next up, we have Leeds up against Sheffield United. Sheffield United, again, another team relegated. Leeds, a team that they managed to beat Fulham away from home, putting a dent in their survival hopes, of course. I do think Leeds are going to win this game. I think it's going to be comfortable, and you know what? I'm going to go for a rare Leeds clean sheet, 3-0 to Leeds, and my tip is going to be Leeds to score over 1.5 goals and win the game at 1.83. So they need to score 2 or more and win the game. Could be 2-1. Could be a completely different narrative to what I've said here. Could be 1-1 the whole game and Leeds score a late winner. Still comes in. Now the next fixture, very interesting one. It's Leicester up against Manchester City. Leicester crashing out of the Europa League. Man City very much focused on the Champions League. The Premier League is all but wrapped up. They are still on for the quadruple. So this should be a very interesting and close game. And whilst Man City have had very good defence lately, I'm going to go for them to concede a goal. I'm sure they'll rotate their squad somewhat, thinking about the Champions League, because, like I said, the Premier League is more or less won for Manchester City here, and the Champions League, even without the Premier League being a guarantee almost, is probably more important to Man City at this point, especially as it is now Sergio Aguero's confirmed final season for the club. What an end to his Man City career it would be for them to win the quadruple. Even if he hasn't had as much of an impact this season as he has other seasons, it would be a great farewell to him. I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win to Man City. Although it's at the King Power Stadium, Leicester have beaten Man City in the past, and Leicester are a good team fighting for top 4. You just can't look past this Man City side, even if they very much chop and change. So I'm going to go for that 2-1 away win to City. But my tip is going to be both teams to score, partly because Leicester, I think they'll score at the King Power, but also it's 1.9 odds. That just shows how good Man City's defence has been. Now, the next fixture, it's Arsenal up against Liverpool. Now, Liverpool, despite their dominant form of the last few years, have only beaten Arsenal at the Emirates twice in the last 10 years since 2011. Arsenal have a pretty decent record against Liverpool, and Liverpool are, of course, in the Champions League against Real Madrid. Arsenal are still in the Europa League, but it's a couple of days after Liverpool's fixture, and it's against Slavia Prague, who Arsenal will feel like they can beat fairly comfortably. So I think Liverpool, they're going to have to rotate their squad somehow. They're going to have to mix it up and not play a full-strength lineup, because the games are only, I believe, 3 days apart from the Premier League to the Champions League, which is cutting it very close. So I don't see Liverpool going away and winning at the Emirates. Something that they have struggled to do, as I said, in the last 10 years. Arsenal, I don't know if they'll be able to get the win, so I'm just going to go for a 1-1 draw, but my tip is going to be both teams to score at 1.61. The next fixture is Southampton against Burnley. Burnley, they're not really being spoken about in terms of the relegation battle anymore. It's pretty much people feel like a toss-up between Newcastle and Fulham. So Burnley, I guess you could say, are safe. Southampton are bouncing back a little bit after their very poor run of form in the middle of the season. I think this is just going to be a pretty boring game, I guess. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Southampton, but my tip is under 2.5 goals at 1.66. A fairly negative tip, I know, but Burnley, their games are always low scoring. Now, next up, we have Newcastle up against Tottenham. Probably the main thing that Fulham have going for them is Newcastle's very, very tricky run of fixtures in the run-in towards the end of the season. I would love for it to go down to the final day. I really, really would, just as a neutral in terms of relegation. I know I'm an Arsenal fan, and people like to joke about Arsenal getting relegated, but, you know, I think maybe it could go the whole way. Yeah, Newcastle, like I said, have a very tough run of fixtures. I'm going to go for Tottenham to win. They don't have, they don't have any Europa League to worry about, which is kind of funny. And I think they're going to win this one convincingly. They're still going to try and push for top 4 or as high up the league table as possible. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Tottenham. And my tip is Tottenham to win and Harry Kane to score at 2.0. It's very rare that Tottenham get a conclusive win, or any win, without Harry Kane on the score sheet. He's on penalties. He's one of the most lethal strikers in the league, in the world even. So I expect Harry Kane to take advantage of Newcastle here. Now, next up, it is Aston Villa up against Fulham. I think Fulham, they've still got to fight, obviously, for survival. Aston Villa, much less to play for. But Villa's defence this whole season has been pretty good, so I can see it being fairly low scoring. But I think Villa will score, because they are playing against Fulham, even though they're fighting relegation. Fulham are in the relegation zone for a reason. They haven't been great defensively. But Fulham can score a goal. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw and say my tip is both teams to score and under 4.5 goals at 2.37. So 1-1, 2-1, 3-1. One of those. 2-2 even. It could be. Next up, we have Manchester United up against Brighton. You could argue it. You'd say Brighton are probably safe from relegation after beating Southampton away and destroying Newcastle at home. 6 points back-to-back is huge for a team facing potential relegation. I think Man United are going to have enough quality to beat Brighton at Old Trafford. Obviously, very controversial the last time Man United and Brighton played, with them Man United getting a penalty after the full-time whistle. Rightfully so, but very controversial either way. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Manchester United. They do have the Europa League to worry about, and again, I'll keep saying it. Before a ball in the Champions League was kicked, I said PSG and Leipzig would finish first and second in that group, and Man United would win the Europa League. Bookies didn't even offer odds on that because it was, deemed not as likely. I'd have to specifically request to bet on that. I wish I did, because they're now the favourites to win the Europa League. But I'm going to go for Man United to win and over 1.5 goals at 2.0. Now, next up, it is Everton up against Crystal Palace. Everton still very much in the race for, maybe not top 4, but like they'll try and get there at least top 6. Whatever, they're in the race for something. They have stuff to play for, unlike Crystal Palace, who are probably going to be safe. It's just a bit boring as far as Palace are concerned most of the time. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Everton, and my tip is Everton to win at 1.8. I thought an Everton win at Goodison Park at 1.8 against this Palace side was ridiculously good value. Now, the final fixture of the week, it is Wolves up against West Ham. Wolves not in the best shape. West Ham, last time they played, absolutely pummeled Wolves 4-0, and West Ham have been playing very, very well recently, losing out, yes, to Man City, but beating the likes of Tottenham, of course, and just overall looking good. They did throw away a 3-0 lead to Arsenal in the previous game week, but still to go 3-0 up is pretty good going. I'm going to go for a West Ham away win, 2-1, in case they don't quite manage it and it ends in a classic Wolves 1-1 draw. My tip is going to be West Ham double chance and over 1.5 goals at 2.05. So that is going to do it for my Premier League predictions for week 30. If you did enjoy it, please do, as always, drop a like on the video below. Leave your predictions down in the comments for a chance to be featured in the next episode. And that is going to do it from me. I will see you in the next episode, which will be Champions League quarterfinal predictions very soon.